ChatGPT, we all adore Marry Me Chicken. Can you please create an amazing and delicious Marry Me Pork recipe?
Absolutely, I can create a delightful Marry Me Pork recipe inspired the flavors that make Marry Me Chicken so beloved. The original recipe is known for its creamy sauce flavored with sun-dried tomatoes and parmesan. Here's a twist on that with pork.
Hey everyone, I'm Dave here, and we're back to cook another recipe generated by artificial intelligence, and I'm excited about this one. You guys requested this like 50 times in the comments, so we're gonna do it. I thought maybe you'd be getting sick of the Marry Me recipes, but you're not. You want me to make more Marry Me stuff. Everyone's wanting to get married in the comments. What you guys told me to ask ChatGPT for was Marry Me Pork. We've already done Marry Me Chicken, we've done a new, better, and more improved Marry Me Chicken, and we've also done a Marry Me Steak. The ultimate request is Marry Me Pork, which I'm excited about. I could totally get on board for. I'll say this, like, pork is not, I love pork, okay, but I like pork cooked on the smoker for 8 hours and put in a sandwich. I like bacon. As far as like pork tenderloins and things like that, I often find them not to be that great. Now, I have learned recently that I had been cooking my pork too long. I'd been cooking it to like 165, and I think you're only supposed to cook it to like 140 or something. I'll have to look it up again. But it does not need to be cooked as long as I had been cooking it. So yeah, that's one thing that will improve your pork. But look, I just ground up some Parmesan cheese. I think you guys knew that by watching, but just so you know, if you didn't already, you're gonna need some grated parm. I guess I didn't grind it, I grated it. I can't really stress enough the need for it to be good Parmesan, because if you use like just the stuff in the can, it's not gonna be very good. So get some good grated parm that you grate yourself. It'll be great. See what I did there? Yeah, to start it off, we do have some general prep work to do. As always, I won't make you watch all the prep work, but I will just tell you kind of what's happening. We need 4 cloves of garlic, and we need to, de-skin them and cut them up, chop garlic. So I will do that, and I'll be back in a second after I'm done. Oh, I will say this. I push down on the garlic with the flat edge of the knife, or the flat side of the knife, because that makes it easier to peel off the skin. Everyone probably knows that. I'm not a professional cook. I'm not teaching anything you don't know, but every now and then someone will be like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Just like, you can peel a banana backwards, guys. If you just like squeeze the wrong end of it, it makes it easier to peel it. There you go. Knowledge drop. It's always more fun when I don't read these recipes ahead, but I did actually read this one ahead a little bit, and technically you're supposed to preheat the oven. So if you haven't preheated the oven, do that now. What should it be preheated to though? 375. Let me do that. I don't think this is gonna be a hard recipe. I think it's gonna be quite easy actually. So we've got our garlic all chopped up. Ooh, almost dropped the knife on my foot. Okay, so we've got our fancy dancy induction cooktop thingy here that we're gonna use to cook this Marry Me Pork, or at least get it started. I'm cooking outside today for reasons. It's just a nice day, really. It's nice weather, so I thought I'd cook outside. It's a little bit more complex to cook outside because I gotta go grab ingredients, but I enjoy doing it sometimes. Oh, actually, I just realized something else we need to do. We need to season the pork loin chops, which is what I got here, I think, with salt and pepper. Are you supposed to cut off this white thing on the edge? Isn't that just fat? I don't know. So we're just literally just gonna pour some pepper, hopefully not too much, like that, and then we're gonna get some salt, and I'll put the salt in my hand first because I feel like I was a little heavy-handed with the pepper, and I'll just do this action here. This little corner's not gonna get salted. There we go. Yeah, that side has nothing on it. Let's do it on both sides. So let's flip it over. I know I should use a fork to flip it over, guys. I told you, you're not watching a professional chef. You're watching I could just touch it with my hands too. A very average chef. It's pretty slimy. I gave it the sniff test. It doesn't smell bad. I've heard slimy meat can be like bad, so I figured I'd sniff it. Give it the old snifferoo. There's some pepper on this side. I feel like I already put enough pepper, but whatever. I don't know why I have Slim Shady stuck in my head. It's not even that song. It's like Shady's back. Remember that song from the 90s? Classic. Is that the 90s? Okay, a little pepper here. Why am I doing this in the stinking packaging? I should have put it down on like a cutting board or something. Anyways, we're fine, guys. We're fine. Let's keep cooking. So like I said, we've got our fancy dancy little induction cooktop because we're cooking outside. I'm gonna put it on high, I think. Start. These things are kind of loud. Hopefully it's not aggressively loud. Actually, it says medium high. There's literally a button on this that says medium high, so I'll push that. And then it says to put a little olive oil in it, 2 tablespoons to be exact, but I'm not gonna really be exact. I'm just gonna put some in there. All right, I got a fork. I thought that'd be good for like picking up I got 2 forks. Let's say I got a fork and I hold up 2 forks. Is this hot? How long does it take? Let me move the oil around a little bit. Okay, looks fancy. Yeah, it feels like it's getting warm. Okay. It says add the pork and sear on each side until golden brown, about 4 or 5 minutes per side. That's a long time, 4 or 5 minutes. And that's only supposed to be searing it, not cooking it. The cooking happens in the oven. 4 or 5 minutes per side, that seems like more than a sear. Golden brown on each side. We'll follow that. Once it's golden brown on each side, we'll take it out. I need like, I don't know, like a spatula or something. I'll be right back. All right, it's been a couple minutes. Let's put these pork chops on it and see if they sizzle. Yay, sizzle. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, it's like sticking a little bit too. There we go. 4 to 5 minutes per side. I'm gonna try like 2 minutes and see where it lands. It's been like 2.5 minutes. I'm gonna flip it and see if it's golden brown. I guess it's not really. Oh well. We'll make the other side golden brown. Oof, okay, it's a little uneven, this table. And then flip the third one. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of golden brown. Give it another 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 4 on this side. I honestly feel like the whole marry me thing is gonna go well with pork. There we go. I'd say that side's brown too, right? Golden, a little golden. It was more like 3 minutes per side. So I'm gonna pull those off, set them on a plate. And we're gonna, should I turn this heat down? Let me see. Lower the heat to medium. Medium, just medium. And add the minced garlic. So now we're gonna work on the sauce, guys. We got the pork, now we're gonna work on the sauce. Add the minced garlic and stir it and make it fragrant. Sauté until fragrant. Stir in the heavy cream, chicken, and vegetable broth. 1 cup of each. Did I actually get a 1 cup measuring thingy? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. Heavy cream and chicken broth. Ooh, it's starting to smell like garlic in here, that's for sure. So we're gonna add, I'm gonna let that saute for a minute. We're gonna measure out. This is not the right kind of measuring cup for a wet ingredient, guys. I know I'm not a professional cook. How many times do I gotta say it in one video before you believe me? I guess you probably would just know by watching how I cook that I'm not a professional. But yeah, so the marry me recipes on my channel have been very popular for good reason. Because once you cook like the marry me chicken, you feel like you have to go cook the marry me chicken again because it's that good. I've had people tell me they've cooked it like 50 times. So, and I myself have cooked it that often because it's really that good. So we made a marry me steak recipe. It was delicious. I was in the mood for steak that day. So both me and my wife were like, oh, this is better than marry me chicken. Now the time has passed. I kind of switch back and forth. Sometimes I want marry me chicken, sometimes marry me steak, depends on the mood. Now we're gonna make marry me pork, and hopefully marry me pork is just as good, if not better, than the other two. But yeah, the garlic's pretty fragrant. We're gonna add in our 1 cup of chicken broth. You can use vegetable broth as well, or instead. And then 1 cup of heavy cream, heavy whipping cream. 1 cup of that. We're also supposed to add some other stuff, but let me just stir that a minute. We're gonna add in sun-dried tomatoes. So if you haven't already, or if you're just watching this and then gonna cook it later, you're gonna want chopped sun-dried tomatoes. I buy them already chopped, but you can chop them yourself if you buy the big ones. You need 1 cup of them. So that's gonna go in that same measuring thingy, cause whatever, I don't mind. That's pretty much all it's pretty much all of them. Throw those in there. And we're also gonna add our 1 cup of grated parm, which again, I'm just gonna use the same measuring implement. I'm outside, guys. When I'm outside, any like new tool I need, I have to go all the way inside for, so I'm like a little lazy when it comes to that. 1 cup. I kind of perfectly grated that. Of the cheddar, or the Parmesan, not the cheddar. And then we wanna mix this up. Yeah, it looks pretty good. We want the cheese to melt. We want it all to get warm. We also wanna add a teaspoon of dried thyme and a teaspoon of dried rosemary. So first we're gonna add our 1 teaspoon of thyme. And again, these are very similar ingredients to the chicken version that we made. The beef one strayed quite a bit, but that's because beef has such a different flavor profile. I guess pork is a little closer to chicken in flavor, so you can get away with doing very similar ingredients according to ChatGPT. We're gonna see though. I feel like this should be bubbling, shouldn't it be? Here's our rosemary, teaspoon of that, add it in. So we got rosemary and thyme in there. Stir it up a little bit more. I'll turn up my heat just a scotch. 300 on my little induction cooker, because my cheese isn't even melted yet. Is it even heating? So we're supposed to let this simmer for a little bit, stirring occasionally until the sauce thickens a bit. It's definitely not thickened yet, so we'll just let it run. It's like 2 to 3 minutes. The sauce looks amazing. I'm excited. All right, so my sauce is kind of bubbling a little bit. It looks like it's definitely thickened a smidge. Maybe like another 1 minute, and then we'll move to the next step. It's looking good though. It's interesting that the oh, you know what that is, that oil looking stuff? That's from the sun-dried tomatoes. I kind of put a little more oil in there than I normally would have from the sun-dried tomatoes. I think it's okay though. Normally I kind of strain them. This time I just dumped the rest of the canister. I'm gonna add more of that yummy flavor though, so I'm not stressed about it. Yeah, this is pretty thick, I would say. I'm gonna add back in the pork chops, and they're gonna go, this whole thing is actually gonna go in the oven. This whole little pan is gonna go in the oven. I didn't think to mention it earlier, but you should probably make sure you're using an oven-safe pan. Not a big deal if you didn't though, because you can always just go switch the pan at this point, like dump it into a different pan. That's our next step. We're gonna take this, bring it into the oven, put it in there, let's see. Remember, we preheated it at 375. Transfer skillet to preheated oven for 15 to 20 minutes until the pork is cooked through internal temperature of 145. So we're gonna go 15 minutes. We'll be right back. How hot is it? Oh, it's not hot, sweet. Be right back. All right guys, we're back. And this is hot. Everything's hot on here. Be careful with the ow, because that's hot. Now, it does look kind of oily and to be honest, not that appetizing. I don't know if that's because I put too much sun-dried tomato in it or what. Okay, so I have one more complaint. I shouldn't have just put it in. Is it a complaint or is it a fail? I shouldn't have just put it in for 15 minutes unattended. I should have been checking the temperature, because when I just checked the temp, this is reading like 160 degrees or 180 degrees. So super overdone in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the sauce? How come it looks so liquidy? Maybe I didn't let it thicken up enough at the previous step. I don't know. We're gonna try it though. This is Marry Me Pork. I'm like most nervous about this stinking, but I just feel like it might be really dry. Here we go. Moment of truth, Marry Me Pork. Super dry. Super dry. Overcooked it. There's no other way to say it. I overcooked it. So the flavors are good. Flavors are really good. This is always my issue with pork. I always overcook it. Yeah, the flavors are exactly as delicious as I would expect. I think it might be worth trying, because I think this could be perfected. I might try it again. A lot of times you have to try things twice if you're not a professional cook. But this is what I would do. First of all, I would let the sauce thicken a little longer. Second, I would not pour that grease from the sun-dried tomatoes in there. And third, I would just literally basically babysit it. I would probably put it in the oven for like 5 to 8 minutes. Check the temperature, and if it's at 145, I'd pull it, because to me, once pork gets past like 165, it gets really dry. Me and my family could eat this. This would serve us. This would be a dinner even as is. It's not perfect because the meat's a little dry, but I think if you did it right, it could be excellent. So, middling grade for me, but again, I can't really finally grade it until I cook it properly. This is what we do here though. We try new things and we see how it turns out. If you guys like this, hit the subscribe button. Check out my Marry Me Chicken recipes. Those ones are always amazing. Marry Me Steak is excellent as well. Plus I've got tons of other recipes here on this channel. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.